Yo, what's up, guys? We're back for another breakdown and prediction video, and got Fitz with me. We're gonna be doing a full betting breakdown. I guess not full because a lot of the props haven't come out for the undercard, but as much as we can give you from a betting perspective right now, and just the picks that we're feeling, that's what we're gonna do for UFC 324. So, first fight card of the year for the UFC, man. What are you thinking about it, Fitz?
I'm just so glad to be back. After 5 weeks, really starting to fiend. It's they do such a good job throughout the year of putting fights on almost every week. So when you have a long layoff like this, we're just not used to it. Obviously some smaller promotions and stuff. I've seen your videos out, and you've been killing it, still making the content. But I think we're all ready for the UFC to come back. Obviously, sucks we lost that one of the two title fights, and I was really looking forward to Amanda Nunes versus Kayla Harrison. That's, in my opinion, a huge super fight. Greatest woman fighter of all time returning, much anticipated, and a grudge match too at that. But Kayla, breaks her neck or whatever she says. So we'll have to wait on that. But it's still a really good card. First Paramount card. Don't have to pay for a pay per view ever again, let's hope. So that's another thing we're very excited about. And yeah, I'm ready to get rolling, make some money, and just break down the fights for you guys.
Yeah, man, for sure. Just breaking down the the Kayla Harrison situation real quick. I mean, do you actually think that fight will end up happening? Because ultimately, how long is she going to be out if she actually has to have surgery on her neck? It seems like that'd be like a long layoff. And you think Amanda's going to want to wait around like if it's a year plus or something like that? I'm not. That could be the death knell for that fight, but hopefully not. But I'm just kind of like thinking in my head.
Yeah, I don't think Amanda'd be too keen to like fight Norma Dumont for an interim title. You know what I mean? So
Nah, because she would have stayed on this card probably if she was willing to do that.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just that hopefully I don't know how long she'll be out. Hopefully she's not out as long as like I'm kind of thinking. But yeah, let's get into this fight card. Let's start with the first fight. We got Ty Miller versus Adam Fugit in this first fight, where Ty Miller is a pretty big favorite. You see him at minus 370, minus 420. So I kind of agree with that, though. I mean, I feel like Adam Fugit, just on top of his age, where he's older, like 37, kind of had a weird camp for this fight. I saw that he is one of those people that was at Fight Ready, obviously, and a lot of people are leaving Fight Ready. I think they had one of their coaches retire from the gym, and it kind of like I don't know. They're in a transition period, I guess. So Adam went to Red Hawk with Tim Welch, so he's training over there. But it doesn't seem like there's a lot of guys there. Like he's training with Jakar Close, who's injured. So I don't know how much Jakar Close is really able to go hard with him. And then he's training with like Tommy Gunn, McMillan, who's a 135 or 145 or whatever. Obviously, I mean, I don't think he's going to be working with Sean. I don't see them wasting their time. I don't know. That's kind of rude, but whatever. I just don't think he's going to be someone that's going to be training with Sean. And Tim Welch is not even going to be in his corner for the fight. So it just seems a little bit weird to me, that aspect of it. And then you see him getting knocked out his last fight. I feel like Ty Miller is a pretty high level striker. A lot of these guys that are coming off the contender series now are getting wins too. Like I saw like almost 70% of people off the contender series last year won their first fight in the UFC. So I just kind of lean towards Ty Miller getting the knockout here. But what do you think? You think Fugit could save his career, or are you on the Ty Miller side?
no, I'm definitely on Ty Miller. I thought, I picked him on Contender Series. I thought he looked really good. That was a really fun fight he had, and he's just a very high level kickboxer. If he is working, if Fugit is working with Sean O'Malley, I mean, I don't think it's the worst look in the world because kind of that long, lanky style can emulate some of the stuff Ty Miller does. But I think the volume is going to be too much. Adam should, maybe try to work some wrestling here, test that of Ty Miller. But I think his takedown defense will hold up. And I think, the UFC knows what they're doing. They're trying to set these, it's at a 70% clip because, these contender series guys are really good, but it's also a lot to do with the matchmaking. A lot of these guys are getting layup fights, coming in the UFC. And I think that is where they see Fugit at this point in his career. You know, they're just looking to build Ty Miller. The line's a little high for someone coming in on their UFC debut. You know, that's a heavy favorite. You always want to be a little careful there, mixing him in parlays and stuff, but he'll get the job done. I'd go knockout, but, you know, Adam might be able to hang tough. Ty Miller, he's not someone who's like a lot of power puncher, in my opinion. He's more, you know, volume, you know, pepper the guy. As we saw in Contender Series, a lot of volume. But I like Ty Miller. I think he's a solid prospect and a pretty safe pick to start the year off.
Yeah, I would agree. And the one thing I would say is you look at Fugit, I'm pretty sure that he's been finished in like all of his losses. So I get Ty Miller not being like a crazy finisher, but you'd think if he wins, he might be able to get him out of there. At least I would think. But yeah, right now I think all we got in terms of props is the over under 1.5 rounds, where it's at least I'm looking on Bet Online right now. It's plus 146 for the under. So I don't know. I would say there's where do you think the value would be on that? You like the minus 165 on the over, or you like the under 1.5
You
rounds?
said it's one. No, I'd go over 1.5. I think that's a good price, honestly.
Yeah, I don't think that's bad.
I might take Ty Miller in the over same game parlay. I don't hate that.
Yeah, minus 166 over 1.5. If it was over 2.5 rounds at that same price, I would probably bet the under.
I completely agree.
But yeah, kind of to me that's a little bit tricky line, but I definitely feel like Ty Miller is going to get the finish. So I don't know. I think maybe just throw him in some parlays, but be safe with it, like you said, because he's not that seasoned really. But next fight, I'm actually.
The guy who didn't finish Fugit was Vanderford, shockingly.
Oh, really? So he went to a decision with him? Yeah. I was just because I'm thinking of his UFC fights. Like he got finished.
He's fought some tough guys in the UFC though. Like the guys he's losing to, it's Michael Morales, Mike Malott, and Islam Dulatov, who hopefully we get to see a lot of this year.
Yeah, he's definitely getting like.
It was a bad knockout in his last fight.
He beat like some decent guys too. Like he beat that, I guess, like dangerous guys. I would say
Josh
like
Quinlan,
Cheetah guy, the Japanese dude or whatever. But yeah, I think we're both pretty safe there. I think Ty Miller's going to get it done. But yeah, next fight, like I said, I'm looking forward to this one. Kind of not a grudge match, but a fight that could have happened a long time ago. Like both these guys are in Texas. They both fought in Fury. They're both former Fury FC champs. But Ricky Turcios kind of like always been a little ahead in his career, I guess you could say. Like he was the Fury champ earlier. He made it to the UFC before Cam Smotherman and all that. But now they both got the 2 losses. So someone needs to win here. I mean, the loser could get cut. So handing it off to you. I mean, what do you think about this fight? Do you think Cam deserves to be a 2-1 favorite, or are you leaning more with the veteran here?
No, I'm gonna go with Cam. I think the line might be a little high. I'd like it more around like minus 150. That's where I'd personally line it, just because Ricky is a dog and he does have a lot of experience, and you know he's pretty much fighting for his life here. They might give him another shot because he does have some sort of fan base, but 3 in a row, you know, at bantamweight, it's not going to look good. And Smotherman, since making that short notice, you know, on his second stint in the UFC, he came in as a big underdog against Jake Hadley, looked really good. But then, you know, they fed him to the wolves. They gave him
he fought Ricky as well,
which is, you know, a very tough veteran, and then he had another tough fight too. The Canadian, Sade, who I'm very high on. But same story for Ricky Turcios, you know, high level losses. Both these guys are going to be hungry. I just think Smotherman is the better technical fighter and also has the athletic advantages. Turcios has to make this a dogfight. He has to make it ugly. He has to use chain takedowns, grappling, and just throw a lot of volume. But I think Smotherman's going to land the bigger, harder, cleaner shots, and I'll go decision. Ricky's very tough.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way, man. I'm going to go with Ricky Turcios in this one.
I've seen a lot of people on Ricky.
Yeah, when I was first looking at this fight, like before I dug into it a little bit more, I was on Cam Smotherman too, but I watched Ricky's last fight. I thought he won that fight against Sopaj. I mean, the first 2 rounds, you could definitely give him those rounds. They were super close. I mean, it was just Ricky pressured forward, a ton of takedowns. And Sopaj was landing a lot of leg kicks and strikes, but Ricky was landing hard strikes too. And I just feel like you look at Smotherman, a lot of his fights, even when he's fighting these guys that are not very good, he's losing the whole fight, man. And then he finds like a flying knee, come from behind knockout, or like a third round KO. And it's like, I don't know how you could really rely on that as a 2-1 favorite. Because it's like, if you're thinking the guy, like, I don't think he's just going to dominate the volume with Ricky Turcios. Turcios is going to be the guy throwing more in his face, the one with the wrestling upside. So you're kind of relying on Smotherman to hurt him a lot throughout the fight or get a knockout at that price. And we just saw like Ricky Simone take his back. And if Ricky Turcios could take his back, he's going to control him the whole round. So I just feel like Turcios is going to win the third round probably at like a decent clip if he gets there. And he just has to, win one of the other 2 rounds and probably a pretty competitive fight. So I just like the underdog price on Ricky. So that's one of the dogs that I think definitely has value for sure, because he was at like plus 285 when he opened. So
Yeah, so I mean that makes sense. Like I said, I've seen him as like a popular dog pick early on. So it makes sense that the money's coming in. I'd probably stay away from this one, even if you're on, if you want to bet some value. I think this could play out very closely. Could be our first split decision, robbery of the year.
Yeah. I could see it for sure. But honestly, man, like I said, if it's a split though, and you got plus 170, you kind of just got to eat it. I feel like it's a good bet. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Next fight, it's another really interesting one. Denzel Freeman versus Josh Hokett. I feel like this line is closing up, and it makes sense because I think Freeman, the guy is underrated, like skill-wise. He's actually pretty skilled for heavyweight, and he's athletic. So when you have that combination, like, you could be pretty good, even if you're, at heavyweight, you don't got to have that much like elite level skill or something. Like, he's like a better, more athletic version of Jamal Pogues, like where it's like Pogues was mobile. He was like a middleweight. He could get takedowns, but he was like a fat, out of shape guy, where Freeman is a legit heavyweight and has kind of the same ability, I would say, head kicks, the left straight, gets the takedowns. But yeah, Hokett, the guy's a great athlete as well. And I feel like it's just a range battle here. I mean, if Hokett's having issues closing the distance and getting pot shotted and hit, it could be a long night for him, and he could even get frustrated and taken down and stuff. But if he has good footwork, like works inside, I think he could land. Freeman has his hands low. I watched a fight against this Isaiah Pinson guy, and he was able to like close the distance and box him up a little bit. So Hokett, to me, he looks like he's getting a lot better, and I just think he could close the distance and probably put the hands on him. But it's a tricky fight just because I think that getting takedowns against Freeman is probably not going to be that easy. I don't even know if you want to have that as your game plan. And then the striking is tricky with a guy like Freeman, who's southpaw and is fast, throws head kicks. I mean, you don't see that many heavyweights like that. So, yeah, what do you think? I know he had a bad performance in the UFC in his debut, but do you think
bad might be an understatement.
Yeah, for sure. It was boring, but I mean, he got the job done. It's not like he lost.
They cut the guy he was fighting. Yeah, I mean, it was really bad. This is to me a little bit of weird matchmaking, in my opinion. Hockett's a guy I feel like the UFC, should really get behind. Obviously, polarizing, but he had that, he has a big personality, and he'll definitely appease that certain, type of fan that the UFC does market to. And I think he is talented on there with John Jones and them, and getting good work in. And I don't know. I think Freeman's really good. I was high on him coming into his first fight. I live bet the shit out of him because I thought, that line closed up and it was horrible. It was disgusting to bet on. I felt horrible about myself. because it was the worst fight I've ever seen. And maybe the UFC just thinks Freeman is a can after that performance. And, I really think they want to build him up. So I'm going Josh here. But I do think this is a tough fight. I do think it can play out closely. Like I said with Ricky, I see a lot of people on Freeman as a dog pick, early in the week. But ultimately, I got to ride the hotter hand and go with the guy who I think is really going to be pushing towards the top of this division, cracking that top 15 at some point this year. But I agree with you. I don't think he should expend the energy on the takedowns. I think even if he gets them down, I think he'll be able to control him on the top. But I don't know if he'll be able to finish him. And if Freeman gets back up, I could see Josh, potentially gassing out. So I think he should keep this standing. I think we're going to find out a lot about both guys here.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's one thing I will say, like, about Freeman is you could say his last fight was like extremely boring, but he went the distance and like he paced himself. And Hogan, he's
Yeah,
never.
definitely
I don't
pacing
think he's
himself.
ever been the distance. So that's another advantage on the Freeman side. Like we know for a fact that he's willing to make the fight boring and win a decision. Where with Hogan, we don't really know if he could do that, right? But yeah, that's why I think that um, it's. I don't think the line will be as wide at fight night. Like I feel like Freeman will probably be like a plus 140, but I don't know because I guess it looks like I don't from that line movement. Is he coming down in price or is he like was because he's plus 205 and the other one so I don't know what he opened at, but I guess it's yeah pretty similar now still, but. I feel like money will come in on Freeman. I don't know what you think about it, but yeah, we'll see what happens with that fight. Like you said, I think it's an interesting one too. But yeah, next fight that I got coming up, I think is the Hernandez versus Michael Johnson fight. So, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, kind of a veteran matchup. Michael Johnson really tough to cap. Probably one of the tougher guys all time to cap in my opinion.
Hernandez too. Fuck.
Yeah, I know. I like Hernandez here though. I both guys obviously looked really good in their last fight, but I've always kind of been an Alexander Hernandez guy. I'm really mad I didn't, back. I think you had him against Hooper, right?
Yeah, and I think we had like switch roles where like
Yeah,
I picked him when he fought Hooper, and then you picked him when he fought CDF,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
I
So I'm
picked
always,
yeah.
I'm always, he's screwed me plenty of times, but I think Alexander Hernandez, he's a guy who was in the UFC young, kind of. We talk about it, kind of grew up in the sport, and I think he's just hitting his stride. Michael Johnson, obviously, tough to fade, but I think the price here is right. I think it's a good number, honestly. And yeah, I like Hernandez. I think he'll be more active. Obviously the power is the X factor. If Michael Johnson can get off his game plan and is just he's one of the fastest strikers we will ever see in the octagon. Such crisp hands, and obviously all those legendary sparring stories out of Team Kill Cliff. Though all the guys will tell you what a savage Michael Johnson is. But at this price, I like Alexander Hernandez. I think he's going to get his hand raised.
Yeah, as a pure pick, I agree. I'm gonna go with Hernandez, and if you like that price, I think on Bet Online, I'm looking at it. He's minus 145, so you can get an even better price over there for Hernandez. But yeah, I actually did bet MJ though. I bet him at plus 225. I only could bet it was only $100 limit, so I
Huh.
only have $100 risk, which I kind of like that because I'm not that confident, but. I felt at that price it was like clear that MJ is the side because I agree with you. It's like I think if Hernandez is going to cover his price tag and it's not going to be like a close split decision or MJ like clear decision win is if he knocks him out cold, like he's been
Well,
doing.
that's what I wanted to ask. Who do you think has more
Yeah.
finishing upside in this one?
I think Alex probably yeah. I think he's the more durable guy, but both of them could. I mean, I think MJ. I was looking at it. He has the most knockdowns ever in lightweight history. So even though he's had a ton of fights, so it's kind of skewed. But still, I think MJ's less durable. But if it goes to decision, I think I mean, his last fight, he set the record for the most significant strikes in a 3-round fight. So he's gonna have the volume. You know, Hernandez is always like moving around, throwing single strikes. So if he doesn't like knock him out, it could end up being like a close split decision type of fight. So that's why I agree with the line. But I think ultimately, like you said, Hernandez, he's younger, and I think he's just more in his prime. Like, whereas MJ, though, I mean, you got to give this fucker credit, man. I mean, he's been in UFC since 2010, and he's like on a 3-fight win streak, won 4 out of 5. So
Fucking tough I mean, Zellhuber is a great win.
yeah, and like I think he's won, like you could argue he's won like 6 out of 7 because that Malarkey fight was like a huge robbery. That he had that fight, but he did get KO'd bad by CDF. You remember that?
Yeah.
So it's like that type of knockout could happen where it's like we all know the type of fight where MJ.
Yeah, he's been because Emmett got him with a big overhand too.
Yeah,
that's what Alexander
got in. Yeah, like and both those fights, he's dominating the fight. Like he's like easily winning, and then he just gets
the Gaethje really was fucking dominating. That's that's a whole different monster. That's one of my favorite fights. That's honestly one of my favorite fights ever. Like top 5. I remember I was watching with my family, and I'm like, "Yeah, guys, this Justin Gaethje guy. I'm hearing he's really exciting. Like I didn't know too much about him, but like this guy's supposed to be pretty fun." And then he goes out there and just puts on the wildest fight ever.
Dude, that shit was hilarious too, because that was when MJ had like the most confidence he ever had. Remember, he was like talking all that shit, like, and he looked stupid like at that press conference. He was like, "I eat all my shit whole," or whatever. I was saying like stupid ass shit, but he was super confident. Like he beat like the best. That was probably like the best MJ or one of them best ever. Like, and he almost got it done, but fuck. But yeah, man, that was a sick fight. But yeah, if whoever wins this fight, man, they're probably gonna. I would say deserve a top 15 guy. So we'll see. It's a pretty pivotal fight, you know, for that weight class. Even though I don't know if either guy really could compete in the top 15. Like that'll be interesting. Like if Hernandez actually gets a top 15 guy, if he could step up to that challenge, you know. But I think that'll be tough for both of them, though. But yeah, man. Next fight. This is another fight where I don't really have a good read on this one, so I'll let you go first with Alex Perez and Charles Johnson, because fucking Alex Perez, man. This is the guy that every time I like watch his fights, I'm like, this dude's a beast. Like I really like this guy's style. He's closing distance punches and bunches. His chin is tucked. Like great wrestling, and he's dominating his last fight with Asu, where he's a big underdog. I got a bet on him. And then he gets guillotined in the 3rd round, and it's like, is this guy washed? Is he gonna come in here and Charles is gonna dust him up, or what do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree. This is a tough one to call. I don't think he's washed because he looked great in that Asu fight. I don't know how it happened. He locked up that choke so fast in the 3rd round. Crazy fight because Alex was looking so good. I do that. This is a quick turnaround though, which I like. I feel like Alex Perez, when he's active, that's when he's his most dangerous, because we've seen these long layoffs, and who knows if he even makes it to the fight night. This is a guy who pulls out of fights all the time. And Johnson's just another guy. Normally you see him at dog odds. It's very rare that we see, minus 200 next to Charles Johnson's name. I think that Joshua Van win is getting him a lot of respect nowadays. And not just that, but Charles Johnson is on a very impressive streak. Outside of that one loss to Ramazan, which is debatable, could have gone either way. I feel like, but yeah, this is tough. I think I might be on the dog here, Alex Perez, to use the wrestling. Johnson's a good grappler though too. That's a thing, and he's just so experienced. Great fight IQ. This is a real tough one for me. I'm flipping back and forth now, even if I said Perez, but I'm trying to verbalize why, and it's just tough for me to see him getting his hand raised against Charles Johnson. He's such a tough guy to beat.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with you, though. I mean, I'm gonna say I'm gonna pick Perez as a pure pick. Like, this is a horrible matchup for Charles Johnson, and you could tell like the UFC does not want this guy anywhere near the belt. Like, they're giving him the best prospects. Like you're talking about Josh Van. I mean, that was a sick win, but what about his last win, dude? He had to go to
Lauren
freaking
Kavanaugh,
China,
yeah.
and
Singapore, yeah.
he fought Loner Kavanaugh, who's like half Chinese or whatever the fuck he is. That he was like a 3-1 favorite against Charles, and he KO'd him. So obviously they were setting him up to lose that fight, and they're giving him all these like hard ass Russian dudes that no one knows, like the Temrov guy, like that Azat Maxim guy. So, I mean, they're just throwing the gauntlet at this guy, and they see that he lost to Cody Durden, he lost to Makayev. He has these losses where he's getting controlled by wrestlers, and Perez is going to go in there. If he's smart, he's going to take this dude down over and over again. Matt return him, and if he has the conditioning, he doesn't get caught in a stupid choke or hit with some knee or uppercut, then he's probably going to get the job done. And one thing I like about Perez, I mean, he gets submitted a lot. He has like six submission losses,
which is ridiculous.
But a lot of them are against like super elite grapplers. And Charles, is he going to submit him? I mean, it could be like a good long shot bet, but I don't think he's going to. I mean, I think Perez, he's only been knocked out once. Like the entire fight, obviously there was the injury there. And then Benavidez, even that finish was like controversial because there was headbutts. There was something that happened where it was kind of like a controversial stoppage. So he's like really durable. Like usually you don't see him getting knocked out. So Charles is going to have to decision him or submit him most likely, which I think it's like a hard path for him. So I'm just leaning towards Perez, but I just have I have a bad track history with betting this guy, like where it's like he's like doing great and lets me down. Like even versus Tyreman, I bet him in that fight, and I thought he won the first round. I think on all three judges' scorecards, he won the first. So it's like he's winning the first round against someone that's like one of the best ever. Not best ever, but best in the world right now. So it's like man, you just got to put it together for the 15 minutes. And Charles, too, I mean, both these guys are like older, like, so it's their last kind of run.
Yeah,
Charles is 35.
Both guys.
Yeah, so whoever wins, I mean, I don't know. It seems like they just give Perez a lot of good matchups, like high level fights, whether he wins or loses. But yeah, I wonder what they're going to do with the winner of this fight. But yeah, that's another interesting one. I think it's like a 50-50 fight, really, honestly. But they got the over at minus 160, so at 2.5 rounds. So they're thinking it's going to go the distance. So,
but for flyweight, that's a pretty good price.
Yeah, well, I mean, because both these guys, I think like almost all their wins are finishes. In the UFC at least. Like you look at like Perez's last win, he had that KO against Nicolau. That was like a sick KO, but yeah. That's an interesting fight. But this next fight, we got another, in my opinion, another live underdog that he was a lot bigger underdog when the line opened. Nikita Krylov against Bukauskas. So do you think Krylov is a live dog here, or are you going with the guy with momentum?
Man, I've fucking picked Nikita Krylov one too many times just out of conscious. I can't do it anymore, man. I really can't. He's screwed me maybe more than any other fighter have. I pick him all the time. I'm just done with him. Losing to Dominic Reyes like that, it just can't happen. Obviously, I feel like he's taking some time off, so hopefully he's looking better. And I'm rooting for him. I like him, and he got starched after that, so it hasn't even been that much time off because Guskov got him too. I was on him there too, but I like what Mendeskis has been doing. He got cut from the UFC and then he was putting in work in Cage Warriors and stuff, and he's come back and he's looked good, man. 4-fight win streak, 3 out of 4 finishes. Sent Paul Craig into a brutal retirement, and then we'll see what happens here. Maybe he does the same for Krylov. If Krylov gets knocked out here 3 fights in a row, I don't want to see him in the UFC anymore. There's no reason for him to, take those years off his life. I love Krylov though. I've always been a fan of him. He was always like my big what if guy in the UFC. I was always very high on him. He screwed me so many times, man. Against Paul Craig getting submitted. Oh man, I
Yeah.
almost smacked my TV. So I just can't trust the guy, man, and I don't think anyone can trust him. I can't. I could never tell someone to put their money on this guy. He's such a flake. But
Yeah.
as soon as I pick against him, I'm sure he's gonna win.
I mean, I think this is a total pass fight. I mean, but as a pick,
It'll be fun though. This is gonna be a fun fight.
I'm gonna pick Krylov to win. I just don't like Bukowskis, man. I mean, even though like I agree, like okay, he's looked good, but who is he fighting, dude? I mean, Cerqueira.
Rafael.
Do you rate that win? Him beating
No,
fucking
that's the worst fighter ever.
him beating Paul Craig. Like, dude, Paul Craig is fucking washed beyond washed, dude. The guy's like a
That was a
fucking bum
nasty.
now.
That was a nasty finish, though.
It was a good finish, but it's like, dude, Nikita Krylov would fucking kill Paul Craig. Like,
Well, he
I don't.
didn't. He could have. He got
No,
choked
I mean
out.
that version of Paul. I don't know. Maybe I'm like, I guess you're right. Yeah, when they fought, Paul Craig somehow ass pulled the win versus Nikita, but still, I just feel like it's like those wins. I don't rate those wins that highly. Like I'm not like blown away by that, you know. And then I thought that when he fought Iwan Kutelaba, I thought Kutelaba like won that fight. I think like a lot of people thought that Iwan won that fight too. So it's like he's not like on an amazing run, you know. And he's also very chinny, this guy, Modestus.
Yeah.
He's been knocked out a lot of times, like 5 or 6 times he's been fucking KO'd. So
Four
both
times.
these guys could get put to sleep. We saw Modestus, even when he's fighting like Marcin Progno, he's getting rocked like 5 times in the fight. Like he's getting head kicked. Like so I just feel like Modestus, he's leveled up for sure, but he's never fought someone like Krylov that's gonna make it a crazy ass brawl on the feet that could mix in takedowns. And if he gets on top of Modestus, like I don't really know
Yeah.
much about how Modestus is gonna handle that on the ground. You know, I feel like Krylov would have a pretty big advantage. So I just think if he's not like completely done, he should get this win and kind of bounce back. But
Modestus is training though with Aspinall, right?
yeah, but his Aspinall training, I thought he's
Yeah,
fucking blind.
blind. Yeah,
The guy's like I can't. Then Antti Delija, he just got knocked the fuck out. Is he out there sparring with him? Like I mean, I don't know who he's
I
training.
think there's a fight. I think Antti has a fight. He got scheduled already.
Really? Didn't
Yeah.
he just get KO'd like 2 months ago? I mean, damn. I guess he needs to get he's an old guy, he has to get him in, but
Could be wrong, but I think he's fighting. Yeah, Sergey Spivak.
I think that's a good fight for him, maybe. But when is that? Oh, that's in February, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's only 3 months though, dude, since after he got KO'd in November by Waldo. So but yeah, either way, I mean I just feel like I think Krylov is training with good guys too. I'm about to look because I saw like he went to a new camp. But either way, I just feel like it's like a coin flip. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see how anyone could
Stay away.
really.
Don't bet on this fight, guys.
Yeah, I mean,
Take the.
what do you think about
under.
like the under or the over? Though, would you bet on that? Like,
What is it? Minus one and a. What
Uh,
is 1.5? Surely no.
here, look at it real quick because I'm looking at Krylov's thing, trying to see. Yeah, he's training with like that Sergey Bolensky guy from PFL and like are some of these ACA guys that are good too. He's training with not Guskov,
Meguru.
Esmanov or whatever his name is, the guy that's the Eagles FC champ. So he has like a lot of like good people that he's training with. But I'll tell you on Bet Online, it's like the over 1.5 rounds is plus 100, and under is minus 120.
I think that's a decent line on the under, honestly.
Yeah, the under was plus 153, so a lot of people bet on it obviously already. So yeah, I think for sure I feel like it is gonna probably go under. But Yeah, I'm gonna roll with Krylov, but we'll see if that looks like a dumb pick. I've been picking him in these fights anyway,
Me
so
too. Me too. And
yeah.
he's picking against Guskov with
He's
shirt.
not even old. That's the thing too. Like it's not like he's like 40, he's like 30, 32 or 33 or something. So we'll see. But yeah, next fight we got a huge squash match from the odds with T Big Gaudier and
Speaking of unders,
yeah, speaking of unders, I wonder, dude, wasn't the under like his last time? It was
I
like,
think 0.5.
but wasn't it like minus 1,000 or something for the 1.5 or something crazy? But the under in this one, it's not that high. It's minus 190 for under 1.5 rounds, which I think is, I might bet on that.
That's gonna get steamrolled.
Yeah, I got to go see what the limits
That's
are
gonna
on.
be minus 400.
I think so too, because, dude, this isn't like, I mean, Pulayev is dangerous, obviously. Like, he's like tall and he throws straight shots, but he has his chin straight in the fucking air, and the guy's robotic as hell. Like, Gaudier, you think is gonna catch him and knock him out cold, and he showed his last fight. Like, he's pretty technical too. Like, he didn't just go out there and like completely unload and blow his gas tank. He was able to, be smart and get the finish, even though he basically knocked the guy out with the first punch he threw with the Valentine or whatever. But,
fucking fear, dude.
yeah, but
that was a crazy fight.
But yeah, he was patient and he got the finish, and I like to see that. But yeah, I just don't see how Pulayev avoids getting the knockout. I mean, maybe when he fought COD, I mean, didn't COD just like hold him against the fence the whole time? Like he obviously he respected his striking, I guess. But I don't think Gaudier is gonna really have as much respect or have as much issues, I guess, with the range that COD did for whatever reason. But yeah, what do you think? You think he's gonna get this KO?
Yeah, come on, man. This guy Gaudier, people are already on him, but this guy's going to be, in my opinion, one of the biggest prospects of the year. One of the most hyped up fighters. He's insane physique, dude. This guy is a tank, like an actual tank. His last fight was insane. He literally had the guy scared.
I forgot about that last fight with the Tristan Vines. Yeah,
even the Robert Valentine.
I was thinking about that.
Yeah, he destroyed him. This guy is just different. I do think, eventually I will fade him. I will, have questions about the cardio and stuff like that. And maybe we'll see some of that here, but I think he's going to knock out Pulayev. I'm not even going to give it really too much thought.
So you think that minus 190, that's a good price, obviously, if you're going to get steamed that big. So yeah, if anyone wants to bet that now, I mean, go throw some money on it because it's probably going to be, minus.
That's why we're doing this every week, try to beat some lines.
Yeah, for sure. Talking about their wide ass line, and this is crazy because we're talking about a former UFC champion, 2-time UFC champion.
He just came in as a huge underdog and looked amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, you could compare freaking
exactly
the hood legend to Umar Nurmagomedov, but still, I get your point. I mean, it's just crazy, like to see Figgy at plus 950 odds. Like, I mean, they're basically saying he's a complete bum, but when you think about it, though, in reality, like, can you pitch me a clear path to victory for him, like, or
Umar
he's gonna get it done? Figgy, like, it's only a fluke finish, right? That's the only way you could win, right?
Yeah, snatch up a guillotine or something. Because his power hasn't translated. He's not going to out grapple him. He's not faster on the feet. It's a nightmare matchup. Respect to Figgy for taking the fight. If he wins this, he'll get a title shot. Which would be awesome. I'm rooting for Figgy. Fuck Umar. Respectfully. But he's going to demolish him. Umar's going to steamroll him.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, dude, we've seen even like 125ers like back in the day, like take like the wrestlers. A lot of them, they took him down. Like that one dude, he got like a big robbery over, the guy that went to Ryzen. I can't remember his name right now, but that Monkey God guy or whatever, he like took him down like a bunch of times. But yeah, Davison, like even if you look at his wins too, like at 135, they've all been with offensive wrestling. Like he's been taking them down and controlling them, getting it back. Like he's not going to do that versus Umar. So he's going to have to rely on like landing a bomb and then, like you said, like grabbing the neck or something. I mean, the one thing about Umar that we've seen is we've seen him get rocked a couple times. You know, like that one fight against that Azamat guy or whatever.
Yeah, you got hurt bad in that one.
And then
Even
his last,
Marab hit him a couple of times.
well, Mario, he hit him with that knee.
Yeah.
Remember, he like
Yeah.
wobbled him really bad.
He has a good chin though. He's in great shape. It'll take, a nuke to put him
Yeah,
away.
that's why I think it'd be more like hurting him really bad and then somehow like jumping on a submission or something like right after it. But
Yeah, it's not gonna happen though.
yeah, it's not gonna happen, honestly. I mean, Umar is gonna get the win, and I think it will be a decision. I mean, we've seen Davison kind of flake out in some of these fights, like where, like versus Corey, even though he hurt his knee, like he was kind of quitting in the first round of that fight.
Yeah.
But Davison, he hasn't gotten finished that many times, and Umar has a lot of decision wins. Like, you know what I'm saying? So Umar maybe could like rear naked choke him if he just completely like washes him up. But you think it's because the under 2.5 rounds is plus 174. So if you think Umar is going to finish him, then you think that there's some value there on that.
I mean, with this line, you'd think he should finish him. Minus 1,600. That's saying he should go out there and get a finish. But in a 3-round fight, if this was 5 rounds, if this was a main event, I think he'd have the time. But Umar, how these Dagestanis fight. They don't rush to finish. They're happy to win decisions, 30-27, no problem. Stay safe, control, and that's what I Figgy's not going to make too many mistakes. He's just going to be outworked, outskilled. Yeah, crazy line though, insane line.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like where they made it where Umar is unbettable. It's like you got to bet on Davison or you got to pass the fight, which just makes it a pass, really. But I mean, looking at that price though, I mean, only over is only minus 200. So
Umar when the line comes out, Umar by points will be minus 180. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm saying if you like that, I mean, it'd be like a decent price. If you're confident that you think it's going to go the distance. But yeah, that's how I'm thinking. I mean, and then if Davison like submission is like plus 10,000 or something, if you put $1 on it to win like 100, I mean, that's never. I mean, fuck it, whatever. But I don't think it's really gonna happen, man. But yeah, next fight that we got, sick fight, man. I mean, Gene Silva is another pretty significant favorite, like almost 2.5 to 1. Oh, minus 310 now on FanDuel. That's pretty crazy line. But yeah, he's trying to bounce back here. He was on that crazy aura run, looking like he might take the belt, and then got put to sleep bad. I mean, not put to sleep, but got hurt bad, and then finished TKO'd, and his face was just destroyed against Diego. So you think he could bounce back against Arnold Allen and look like the old Gene Silva, or you think it'll be a different kind of vibe after that kind of beat down?
Yeah, I was looking to bet Arnold Allen. I like him here. Obviously very underrated, not the most active guy. But then this is one of the fights I've really kind of looked into early in the week. Gene Silva, man, he does a lot of his best work versus southpaws. So I think this is just a real tough matchup for Allen. That lead hook of Gene Silva's is so nasty, and I just think he's going to catch him.
Yeah, I honestly agree. I was thinking I was going to bet on Arnold, but I mean, when I rewatched him, I mean, he's obviously a beast. Like, the guy has great pressure, and then his hand speed, his boxing is really good. But I didn't realize, like, how much he did struggle, like, versus Giga a lot to cut the cage off. You know what I mean? And versus Gene Silva, I think it'll be – if it's hard for him to cut the cage off, then Gene's going to get reads and start to be able to land, strikes on him. And I think he has more weapons too. Like, on top of that hook, I think his kicks are gonna be there. Like, the body kicks from Giga were landing, so I think Gene Silva can land body kicks as well. He might not be quite as fast a kicker as Giga, obviously, but he has the power and everything like that. And I just don't see him as the type of guy to lose two in a row. And his last fight, I mean, you could argue like that was kind of an ego loss, like he was whooping on Diego in that sequence and just kind of got overzealous and then freaking ran straight into that elbow. So if he stays composed, he'll probably be able to find the shot and get him out of there, like you said. So I will be curious to see. Like, I guess the odds are actually there. Let's look at it because him by KO plus 175. Um,
That line, it's only going to get smaller. People are going to bet Gene Silva knockout. He's a guy the public likes. Some sharp money will probably come in on Allen. Add that big line. So I think the money line might stick around here. I still anticipate it to go higher, though, to be honest, just because Gene Silva is, going to be that public. That people are going to be parlaying him on the main card. And he's definitely the bigger name. And I definitely wanted to do Allen. In my opinion, the line is high. I think it should be 2-1. 3-1 is a little disrespectful to me. But I can't just pick someone because of the line. I think Gene Silva gets his hand raised.
yeah, and the one thing I will say, like, it's not. I don't think I'm gonna get a bet on it at the Allen TKO plus 950. But the one reason why I think that's live is because of the cuts from Gene Silva, man. I mean, his face was cut up so bad in that last fight that
And really
it,
hasn't been that much time off. Yeah.
yeah, it wouldn't shock me if maybe he gets elbowed in a huge cut and they stop the fight off that. So that would be like one of my worries, if I'm betting on like an inflated Silva line is that kind of finish, where it's kind of like you lose off a fluke type of thing, but yeah, I feel like Gene Silva is going to get the knockout, though. It's a pure pick. But next fight, we got another big favorite with Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. And, I mean, historically, this has been the fights where Rose goes out there and freaking gets a first-round knockout or dominates and gets the win. But at this point in her career, I mean, I don't know if I could back her to do that. I mean, I'm one of those people that, I mean, I've done good with the Rose picks. Like I picked her when she fought Weili, both fights where she was underdog in both fights, and same scenario with JJ where she was the dog in both fights. But yeah, this one I just don't know if she's going to be able to summon up a win here. I think it'll be competitive because Rose brings a more dynamic striking style than like Alexa, where she could mix in the kick. She's going to be able to maybe mirror with the stance switches and stuff. But I just think Natalia is going to do more, probably land the more eye popping shots. Maybe she could even get a takedown or two, as well. But yeah, I just think Natalia will get it done. But if someone can, go in there and get some crazy upset, I mean, we've seen Rose do it multiple times. So you think she has another one in her, or you're going to go with Natalia here?
No, I mean another former champ, coming in as a big dog, but I think it's for a valid reason here against Natalia Silva. She's really been so impressive. I'm a big fan of her. She's very exciting. Love her style, all action. One of my favorite, if not my favorite, female fighter to watch. And I think the biggest thing is if this was at 115, which is I always think Rose should be at 115. I think that's just her much more natural weight class. She's had some really good wins at 125. Just went out there and beat Miranda Maverick, which was very impressive. Um, but this is Natalia Silva all day, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I will say though, I mean, this isn't really like the odds makers didn't open it up like this though. It's the public that steamed that line because they actually opened it like really even. Like I'm looking at it like Bet Online, they opened Natalia at minus 150.
Yeah.
So they think the odds makers thought initially it was going to be like a close fight, but I think that's more just respect on Rose, and Rose is like won in a lot of huge spots where Silva's just kind of getting into it, but I think she's going to get it done. So yeah, next fight we got Derek Lewis versus Walter Cortez Acosta. Man, another weird fight because Waldo, he was a big underdog against freaking Ante Delija I don't know about big underdog, but he was the
A
dog
slight
against,
underdog, yeah.
yeah, against Delesia, and slight favorite when he fought Shamil, who came in on like what 24 hours notice or something. So he was like minus 170 versus Shamil when he came. I guess he came in on that notice, but still, I mean, minus 310 versus Derek Lewis. I think that's a steep line. It's like I don't think anyone could be that big of a favorite versus Derek Lewis unless you're like a Tom Aspinall or like someone that's like cream of the crop striker or something like that. But even then, I think the line can't be much wider than that because Derek Lewis has the chance to catch anyone and put him out. So he has a chance versus anyone in a fight. And with Waldo, I mean, I don't know how he could be justifiably at this price, man. I'm gonna pick Derek Lewis.
Oh man.
I'm not gonna have any like crazy breakdown on him, man. I just feel like he's in shape. It's gonna be a
He
striking
looks like
fight.
he's in really good shape.
It's gonna be a striking fight. It's like Waldo could catch him and knock him out, but Derek could catch him and knock him out too, and that's kind of how I see the fight. So at plus 250, like I just totally disagree with
How
those
about the
odds.
under 1.5 though? Plus 102. That's
Yeah, I think that's a good bet. That's a good bet too, and especially like the under 2.5 minus 220 is like you could put that in parlays. I think
yeah,
honestly,
totally
like
agree.
yeah. But the one thing I will say is like, dude, remember that fight where fucking Derek Lewis fought that who's the Brazilian dude where you were saying
Carlton?
not Taliesin, the other Rodrigo
Yeah.
Nascimento, and he was like dragging the fight, like he could have KO'd him at any time, and he's just fucking like not doing anything. And then the third round, he like blitzed him and KO'd him or whatever. But I don't know. I just feel like Waldo, he's not going to take him down, and I don't think Waldo's someone with like, even though he's gotten these knockouts, dude, he's not beating. People overrate these guys that he's beating, like Antti Delesia. Like he's not that good. So I just feel like KOing him is not the same as KOing a bigger, more athletic guy like Derek Lewis. So I'm gonna say Lewis gets the knockout, but yeah, I mean I get why most everyone's on Waldo. It's probably the conventional pick, but I'm gonna go with Derek Lewis here. I feel like as an underdog, I'm gonna pick him like almost against anyone. So it's just my position on it, really.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean Derek Lewis, one of my all-time favorite fighters, facing the guy probably Waldo. Probably last year made me more money than any other fighter in the UFC. Honestly, he was probably the most successful fighter I had. Did really well last year, and this is tough. I just take the under here. I hate betting against Derek Lewis. The few times I've felt really bad about it. And just how could you go into a fight rooting against him? Like it's just like why would you want to do that? Like it's just not fun. You want
yeah,
to root for Derek Lewis. You want to see his post fight interview. This is a hilarious fight. Derek was so funny uh in that press conference they did. He's going to be electric fight week, and I just love Derek Lewis. But this is a tough matchup. Waldo, he should win this fight in my opinion. He should kick the legs, try to get some takedowns. He can take down big guys. We've seen it before. And,
yeah.
and
I don't think he's gonna take down Derek though. I mean that would be
I don't
impressive.
think he should stand with him.
Well, that's what he does with everyone, really. I mean, the only guy he took down was Robellis, who has like
Yeah.
fucking absolutely zero takedown defense. Like nothing. So I mean, even with when he fought Ryan Spann, like he was striking with him and stuff. But if he tries to go in there and wrestle, I think that would be a great fight. I think Derek would squash him if he did that. Like, because Derek has fought like guys that are way better wrestlers than
Yeah.
him and beating them. So like Curtis Blades and all that. Like I don't know. That's gonna be an interesting fight. Like anytime Derek's in there, it's just gonna be chaos, and someone is probably gonna get knocked the fuck out. So yeah, we'll see if I mean Waldo's last fight was fucking crazy. So it's gonna be a good fight, man. Regardless, and yeah, co-main event time though. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yudong. Um, Honestly, man, I really like this fight for Sean. I like the odds as well. I feel like he's a good parlay piece this week. He's one of like my more confident picks. Song Yudong, the guy is super dangerous. You know, elite striker, very explosive guy. I really like Song. Like I remember back in the day, like when he first got in UFC, I was saying like he's gonna definitely be a UFC champion. But I mean, 135 is so hard, man. I mean, I don't know if you get there at this point, but this is just a hard matchup for him. I mean, we've seen him when he fought guys like Corey Sandhagen.
Kyler Phillips.
Yeah, he just
Like,
struggles with these guys that
really
move
watch.
that have good footwork. And Tyler Phillips is a good shout out because he's actually, you know, a training someone that trains with Sean, and they probably, you know, have similar. They definitely have a similar style and build, so Kyler can tell him a lot of stuff, and I think Sean's even better than Kyler is. So there's no takedown threat really. I mean, if Song Yudong does surprise him and gets takedowns, then maybe he could win that way, but we've never really seen that. And pure striking fight, I just think O'Malley's going to outpoint him and be smart. He probably won't get the KO or anything, but just outpoint him and get the job done. So I'm going with Sugar Sean here. And yeah, he was minus 300. Now he's minus 200. So I'm just kind of seeing, you know, where everyone's at on the line. And then I might put some money on him. So what do you think about it, man?
Yeah, I agree. I like Sean decision. I wanted to see. I'm not as bullish on it as you are. You know, I wanted to see, and I still want to do some more research. But I think Sean, you know, the one thing I will say, it's tough to gauge Sean's mindset. I've seen stuff where he said this is going to be his last year fighting and stuff, that this could even be his last fight and whatnot. So it's hard to be confident in him in that sense, but and you just don't really know where his motivation is at right now. But I think he's hungry. I think he wants to get his swagger back. I think Sean O'Malley, he was champ for a reason. We've seen him beat a lot of great fighters, and I think co-main event, it's gonna be a good fight. Kind of wish it was 5 rounds. 3 rounds is short, but I think 3 rounds. Who do you think that favors?
I think Sean. I mean, even though he's been in 5 round fights too, I mean, we've seen in 3 round fights, he knows how to keep the output still super high. And it just gives Song less time to, catch him with the bomb, because I think that's how Song's going to win. Like, do you think Song could outpoint him and like win on points?
No, the only thing is mixing
It'd be tough.
up the takedowns, but Sean's so tough to take down.
Yeah, like, and so I mean, I don't. Maybe I'm like forgetting a fight, but has there been a fight where Song actually did get like multiple takedowns and stuff? Like, because it's always him usually defending takedowns,
Yeah.
But maybe there. I mean, I know he trains it with Alpha Male, but still.
Yeah, he took down Corey a couple of times. He took down Chris Gutierrez a couple of times.
Yeah, so you think maybe that's his game plan for the fight, is to.
It's tough to stand with Sean O'Malley. It's hard for me to imagine anyone wanting to do that.
Yeah. So we'll see. Like you said, mentality wise, it's maybe the one area where you could question Sean right now for sure. And but man, if there's anything that can get you pumped up, is fucking seeing someone that you beat before becoming the champ, and taking the belt away from a guy that you couldn't figure out how to beat. So if anything motivates you, it's got to be something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have faith in Sean getting the job done there. But yeah, it's definitely a high level fight, and now it's the co-main event now, so big spot for them. But yeah, main event time, man. Great fight here. Fight that a lot of people are bitching about, though. I mean, seems like Sarukian was definitely a guy that deserved this spot the most.
Sarukian smokes both of them. Let's say that.
Yeah, I think so too. I would agree. Be the pretty favorite against both.
Minus 500 against both.
Yeah.
Maybe 700 against Gaethje.
One thing I will say though, shout out to Armin, man, because I think he's handling it perfectly. Like people are shitting on him.
Some killer content, dude. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, like, and people are shitting on him. Like, Patty obviously is gonna trash him all week and all that, but regardless, like, he could have, bitched and moaned and like been on a campaign like talking shit about the UFC for the last three after the Hooker fight, but instead like you said, he's putting out funny ass content. He's going everywhere, like on a ton of podcasts. He's doing these wrestling matches, like he did the match with Shara. He did the match with that one dude on Raft, so he's staying busy in that sense. And I feel like he's changed the like the way that fans perceive him. He's changed that a little bit. Like, he's getting more of a American fan base, and I think he's doing all the right shit. Like, shout out to Armin, because he's putting himself in position where he wins another fight, he's like absolutely undeniable, or he might be able to just go straight into the fight. I mean, with Ilya, it's kind of tricky, So, but yeah, I think Armin's doing a good thing, but still, they got this fight going on, Justin versus Patty, and Justin, it's kind of like the if LeBron James, if he gets into the All-Star game this year, it's like that type of thing. They're kind of giving him this Hail Mary shot, even though he's like 3-2 in his last five, and he's only on a one fight win streak. It's not like he's really like had a ton of momentum, but yeah, you think he can go in here and get this like late career Michael Bisping title, or you think it's going to be Patty getting it done?
Man, I think Justin's super live. Justin, I talked about Derek Lewis being one of my favorite fighters ever. Justin's right up there with him. Love Justin Gaethje. I would love to pick him here. Patty, is I don't know if he's distracted, but he's definitely worried about other things. Talking shit to Dan Hooker and whatnot, and going back and forth. And this is going to be the first real big spotlight. Patty's obviously been in some big spots. That Chandler fight was really big, but he's main eventing a pay per view. He's never done that before. Justin Gaethje has been there, done that. Obviously, he's had some ups and downs. Won the interim title against Tony. Lost against Khabib and whatnot. Max in that big spot on UFC 300. The one thing that holds me back from picking Justin Gaethje here and being confident is the lack of faith I have in his jiu-jitsu, how bad he's looked against, and obviously we're talking about Khabib and Charles Oliveira, the two greatest grapplers of all time, probably. But Patty's, grappling is very, very legit. He's dominating on the ground. And I just don't have faith in Justin Gaethje's ability to, if he gets taken down, to survive.
Yeah. To me, I agree with the breakdown, man. I mean, I want to pick Gaethje because, I mean, on the feet, he's definitely going to be live, and I think the calf kicks. If he could land a few of those calf kicks early and impact Patty, that's going to be his path to victory, man. Because it could make it hard for the takedowns, and if they're just striking and Patty can't move as much, he's going to get tired, I think. So I would say that'd be the game plan for Justin is chop the leg kicks, defend a couple takedowns, and, see if you could start to land that big left hook like Jared Gordon was landing, and just kind of put that power on Patty. But yeah, Patty, he has those long like weapons, man. Like, he's definitely getting sharper with his stand up. So Justin, he kind of struggles with those straight shots, like those long punches down the middle, uppercuts. Um, Man, I mean, we saw in the Tony fight, like he could have lost that fight, even though he completely dominated the fight. He gets dropped with the uppercut. Charles dropped him with the uppercut. So, if I think Patty is going to bring those long weapons, knees, uppercuts up the middle, straight punches, and obviously he's going to try to time the takedowns and all that. But I will say, I think his like wrestling ability, he's gonna have to, mix it in later on. Like, I don't think he's just gonna be able to close the distance like a Habib and fuck.
Justin's very hard to take down, yeah.
Yeah, like, and he's not like a someone that level changes is like super explosive like that either. Like, I think he's gonna have to strike with them a little bit and then time like a fit in takedown. But the thing is, if he gets on top once, even if he doesn't finish the fight, he could do a lot of damage and kind of like totally change the fight, or he could finish it with one takedown. So I just feel like he has like a huge edge in terms of that. But yeah, in the Chandler fight, like, a lot of the times when Patty got on top, Chandler actually took him down first, and then he was like getting reversed. You know what I'm saying? So Justin Gaethje isn't going to take him down or try to. So Patty's going to have to work for the takedown. So I agree. I think Justin's live, but yeah, it's dude. The Charles fight, it leaves a bad taste in my mouth because he was just so wild in that fight, and that was his last chance to like be the undisputed champion. So I just don't know if he's going to control his emotions in there, and if he fights crazy, that's going to get Patty like a way easier chance to win. But I mean, if this is like a super disciplined Gaethje performance and he has the takedown defense on point, then he's probably going to look like the favorite, you know, especially down the stretch. So I think there's ways where Gaethje could win the fight, but I think Patty probably like wins, you know, 6 or 7 out of 10 times. So I'm going to say Patty gets a submission win, but yeah, you think it's going to be a finish inside the distance?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Either
'cause
way, honestly.
I'm looking at like under 2.5. I like it's minus 115, which I think is a good price. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's gonna go like 3.5 rounds, but we'll see. We'll see where like that goes. But yeah. Do you think if Gaethje wins, do you think it's gonna be early on?
I don't know. I think I could see him, doing damage and getting a later finish, but I don't see this fight going to decision. Gaethje's never lost a decision.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. Because he probably hasn't been in that many though.
Yeah.
I know he beat Fiziev like he had 2 decisions with him that with Fiziev, but yeah. So there you guys have it. It's a full card breakdown for UFC 324. I'm definitely gonna be doing some more videos. We might come back on and do another breakdown video this week. But yeah, if it's last thing you want to say or any
No, glad to be
confident
back.
picks.
Check out the channel, subscribe, guys. We're doing this early in the week. Hopefully, beat some lines for you guys. Get everyone amped up early, get everyone locked in. So hope everyone enjoys it, appreciates it, show some love. We're gonna be trying to do these streams consistent. We're obviously late tonight, but we're gonna be grinding this year, and I'm excited. A lot to look forward to.
Yes, sir, man. It's gonna be a great 2026 and kicking off the Paramount era with this card. So, like Fitz said, hit the like button, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Thanks everyone for watching the video, and peace out later.